Maggie and Alex had been married for 3 years, though it felt like they had shared a lifetime together. The kind of comfort only an old, well-worn hoodie can bring. Their story began at a mutual friend's wedding where a chance encounter over shared laughter and a little something extra sparked a connection. A year later, they stood side by side, cutting their wedding cake to the sound of a cheesy love song, full of hope and excitement. Alex worked the relentless shifts on an assembly line at the local Ford plant, while Maggie's days were spent tucked away in a beige cubicle, tirelessly processing invoices. Children were still a distant dream for them. For now, they savored stolen moments of togetherness, chased career goals, binged TV shows, and indulged in slow, lazy weekend breakfasts. As New Year's Eve approached, the company decided to forego the usual extravagant venue for their annual office party, opting instead for the modest, familiar space of their office. A ripple of panic ran through the staff, but Maggie's best friend Dana stepped in without hesitation, volunteering to orchestrate the event. A collective sigh of relief followed. Maggie became Dana's eager assistant, scouring Amazon for glittery garlands, disco cups, and every imaginable token of corporate fun. Dana grumbled about the tackiness of it all, but Maggie only laughed, clicking add to cart with excitement. One particularly tired afternoon, after barely 3 hours of sleep, Dana dashed out to grab more decorations. Maggie, craving caffeine more than errands, shuffled the break room, coffee cup in hand. Without even needing to look, she recognized a familiar voice. Nick, the regional sales manager, leaning casually against the counter, his tone laced with that trademark, flirtatious charm. "Hey, Nick," she said, heart fluttering despite herself. For months, Nick hovered in that gray area between friendly and flirtatious. Maggie knew she should shut it down, but she secretly enjoyed the attention. They chatted about the recent snowstorm that had turned the highway into a parking lot. Then Nick leaned closer, a mischievous glint in his eye. "So, what are you wearing to the party? I can't wait to see you in something short." Heat rushed to Maggie's cheeks as she stirred her coffee, now swirling like molten lava. "Haven't decided yet," she murmured. Nick winked, lifted his mug, and left her standing there, her mind spinning with a cocktail of guilt and thrill. Had she just crossed a line, or was it a harmless flirtation? A few nights later, Maggie found herself in a boutique, clutching a black dress so short it barely kissed her thighs, paired with sparkly tights that screamed boldness. When Alex saw the outfit, his expression morphed into that of a nervous father sending his daughter off to prom. "That's pretty daring, sweetie," he said with a mix of concern and affection. Maggie pressed a quick kiss to his cheek, promising to behave, though her heart raced wildly as she left the store. The office party smelled of champagne and stale copier toner, a strange but familiar mix. Nick lingered just across the room, keeping Maggie's nerves taut. She tried to soothe herself with another glass of champagne, eyes darting to the crowd until they locked with Nick's, his gaze lingering appreciatively on her dress, a tiny smile playing on his lips. When the music shifted to a slow dance, Nick approached with an easy confidence. "May I have this dance?" Maggie nodded too quickly, nerves jangling. As the closing song played, Nick leaned in, his warm breath brushing her ear. "After party at my place. Small group. You in." Maggie's throat tightened. "Who's in the group?" "Evan and Katie," Nick replied with a smile. Her mind raced to object, but the wine drowned out her caution. Dana overheard and begged Maggie to reconsider, but Maggie smiled and waved her off. Nick's townhouse smelled of pine candles, but beneath that was a hint of trouble. Ride shares buzzed in the background as Maggie threw back a shot, blurring the warning signs. By midnight, she stepped onto the balcony for a cigarette, lighter flickering in the night. Nick followed, and as she crushed the butt, he tilted her chin, kissing her with a hunger that sent her heart racing. They stumbled into the bedroom, but Maggie's intoxicated haze couldn't prepare her for the shock of finding someone else already there. Evan. His hand slid around her waist from behind. Had she been sober, she would have fled. Instead, she stayed. The next morning, Maggie awoke sandwiched between two snoring men, clothes scattered carelessly on the floor, the door wide open. No money, no dignity. She ran home. Alex was in the living room, jaw clenched, eyes heavy with hurt. She had promised to be home by midnight. Now, It was 6 in the morning, and her mascara had traced dark rivers down her cheeks. Without a word, she fled to the shower, scrubbing at her skin until the water ran lukewarm. Hours later, curled on the bathroom floor, clutching her knees, guilt pressed down like a weight she couldn't shake. She wished she had listened to Dana's warnings. At work that week, the fluorescent lights felt like interrogation lamps. Dana avoided her gaze. Nick and Evan merely nodded, their silence stinging deeper than any words could. One quiet Sunday, Maggie broke. She confessed everything to Alex, tears soaking her sleeves before she could even reach the worst parts. Alex sat quietly, eyes locked on hers, until finally he spoke. "I saw in your eyes that morning." Her sobs caught in her throat. "I've been wondering if I can ever forgive you," she whispered. "I want to try," he said. She dropped to her knees, clutching his hands, words tumbling out in gratitude and regret. Alex sighed, "Give me time." But time felt like a labyrinth neither could navigate. The memory of that night refused to fade. 2 years later, when Maggie tentatively brought up starting a family, Alex's eyes said more than words ever could. The wounds ran too deep. He only asked that she quit her job, too many ghosts haunting the office halls. She agreed without hesitation. Maggie moved back in with her mother. The new job barely paid enough for gas, long late-night shifts peeling linoleum floors, and echoes of what if kept her awake. She told people that one reckless night had cost her everything, but she never revealed that sometimes, in the quietest moments, she still remembered the kiss on the balcony, and she never quite decided whether shame or longing burned hotter inside her. Wiping away tears, she punched in for another shift and prayed tomorrow would finally bring a chance to forget.